Hello everyone, and welcome to the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight we're going to be continuing with our playthrough of Secrets of the Lost Tomb, the Pharaoh with the Blue Eyes. With this being a blind playthrough, I kind of figured I was going to make some mistakes during the playthrough, and I did find two very large ones. It involves these tomb cards. I should have been applying the tomb effect for both of these cards during the tomb phase. -5 combat during the tomb phase, -3 combat during the tomb phase, and I didn't do that. So our heroes would be probably in even worse shape than they are right now. As this is a blind playthrough, I'm going to just try to learn from these mistakes and point them out to the viewers so that when they make their playthroughs, they won't be as likely to repeat the mistakes that I've got. So we'll continue on and we'll see if we can how we can do with this. Right now, at present, Bianca Sinclair has no audacity and 5 health, and James T. Temple has 11 health with no audacity. So we're probably going to meet a violent end in this game, but we'll see how we can do. We'll begin with the adventurers phase and Bianca Sinclair. She's going to start out by performing a rest action, and that's going to move her health up by 2 points. She'll move her back up to 7. That's going to end her turn. We'll move on to James Temple. He is in the Pharaoh's Hall with the Hound of Tindalos. So I'm going to continue on with the combat against that creature, and we'll see if we can take that thing out. So James is going to spend an action, and he's going to do a combat against the Hound of Tindalos. Creature has 4 hits on it out of its total 9 health. James is going to be employing his M1A1 rifle, and that combined with his dexterity and rifleman ability, he'll be rolling 10 dice. And here's his roll. Already got a couple of stacked dice here. I guess I'll just keep those the way they are. All right, he has a total of 3 regular hits, 1 critical hit, and 2 critical fails. All right, the creature has a defense of 0 and a combat value of 6. So we've only done a total of 4 hits to the creature. So we're going to take 2 wounds in the process. That'll move James down from 11 to 9. And now we're going to see how many hits we can get on the creature. It has an armor value of 0, so all the hits are going to go through, and that'll be a total of 4 more additional hits, and that's going to move this up to a total of 8 out of 9 hits on the creature. We'll place an additional 4 hits on it, and then we need 1 more to kill it. We'll move on now to Bianca, and I think I'm going to do another rest action for her. So we'll have her perform her second action, and that's going to move her health up from 7 up to 9. We can only heal in a room where there's no monsters in, so that's why I'm trying to get her built up back a little bit. We'll move back to James. He's going to spend his second action, and he's going to make another attack on the creature. And here's his roll. All right, he has done a total of only 2 hits. All right, so that means that the creature's attack strength is a 6 minus the 2. We're going to take an additional 4 damage to James. That's going to move him down to 5. And now the creature has no armor. Both hits will get through, and we're going to have a total of 10 hits on the creature, which will exceed its health, and we're going to kill that. So James is going to gain 5 soul shards, but the creature has a special ability, and that says, when killed, roll a die. On a roll of 1, respawn Hound of Tindalos in this room with full health. So we'll have to hope that we don't roll a 1. So we'll take care of that right now. Here's the roll. And we rolled a 6, so we're good. The Hound is killed. James will gain 5 soul shards in the process. That's going to move him up to a total of 15 soul shards, which is good. Next up is Bianca Sinclair, and I think I'm going to have her do a move action. Now we have one slight problem, and that is on the main level, level 1, we've got a creature called the Siren. And as soon as we move on to that level, we have to use, because we have such low mythos, we'll have to use our actions until we reach the Siren's location on that level. So I'm going to have her move back up to level 1 and clear out that Siren, I think is the best way to do it. So she's going to move 1 and 2 back into Quetzalcoatl's descent, and continuing on 3, 4, and 5, and she'll enter that room with the Siren. James will be up next. I'm going to spend his third action, and he's going to rest. And I think for his rest action, he's going to take the 2 health. That'll move him from 5 back up to 7. Bianca is up next, and I think she's going to attack that Siren in the sacrificial chamber. Now, this is the first time she's encountering the Siren, so the Siren has a courage level of 2, so we're going to have to move Bianca down 2 points. So she'll move from 0 to -2 on the courage track. And now she's going to make an attack on the creature. She's going to use her .45 caliber pistol. It's a dexterity weapon, so that'll be a total of 4 dexterity, 3 for the pistol, that's 7. And then her compadre, Georgios, will add +3 for checks using dexterity. So she'll be rolling a total of 10 dice. And here's her roll. All right, she has a total of 2 critical hits and 2 regular hits. The creature has a combat value of 3, so she's exceeded that. She'll take no damage. Creature has 0 armor, so all the hits will go through. A total of 4 hits will be placed against the Siren. She has a health of 5, so we've knocked her down by 80%. We'll place 4 hits on the Siren, and then we'll see what James is going to be up to. James is going to continue on with his rest, and he'll do his 4th action will be a rest action, and I'm going to move him from 7 up to 9 health. Now, James has 15 soul shards. As soon as we can get rid of that Siren on level 1, I'll try to move him to Quetzalcoatl's Hall, where he can try and encounter to spend those soul shards. Bianca's going to use her 5th action and do one last attack, hopefully, on the Siren. Here's the roll. All right, let's see what we got here. She has a total of 2 hits. The creature has a combat value of 3, so she's going to take a wound in the process. That's going to move her down from 9 to 8. And then we'll examine the armor value of the creature. It's 0, so all the hits will come through. 2 additional hits will come on, and the Siren is finally killed. Bianca's going to gain the 3 soul shards, and half of the courage would come back from that, so that'll raise her courage up 1, from -2 to -1. And she's going to gain an additional 3 soul shards, moving her up to a total of 6. All right, James is up next, and we do have one other creature that's within 1 space of him. That's that stone spirit of Olmec. It has only a movement of 1, so I think if James just moves into back up to level 1 and he can go to Quetzalcoatl's Hall, we won't have to deal with that creature right away at least. So he's going to spend his 5th action as a move, and we're going to move him to Quetzalcoatl's Hall. So James is going to move 1 and 2, and that'll put him into Quetzalcoatl's Hall, where he can maybe spend some of his soul shards. Bianca is up next, and we're going to spend her last action, and I think she's just going to remain where she is, and she's going to do a rest action. It'll heal her back up from 8 up to 10 health. All right, now we'll move on to James at Quetzalcoatl's Hall. I think James is going to take advantage of the Soulmonger, and I'm going to spend some of his soul shards, and we'll see what we can do to improve his position. James is going to spend his last action, and he's going to consult the Soulmonger. Now, one thing that I'm concerned with is that James's courage level's at -6. If it gets to -10, he's going to be forced to flee the mine, and I think we're already in a bad position, so we don't want to make it any worse. So one of the abilities that we have when dealing with the soulmonger is he has some services. And for 13 soul shards, he can bring the adventurer to starting courage. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend 13 soul shards, and we're going to bring him back to starting courage level. So we'll spend the 15, we get 2 and change, and that'll move his courage back up to his starting level. His starting courage was +1, so we're going to move him up to +1. I think that'll help to prevent him from having some problems with these monsters. Particularly, we've got that Tomb's Eye. That's going to be moving into his space, and that has a courage value of 4. And now we're going to move on to the tomb phase, so we'll start by drawing a tomb card. And the tomb card is labeled as Misguided and Treacherous Thoughts. We'll begin with the tomb effect, and that says a promise of more. All characters are going to have to make a knowledge test. If they fail, they have to surrender an item. We'll begin with Bianca. She has a knowledge value of 2. And here's her roll. She rolls a 6, so she's passed that test. And we'll move on now to James T. Temple. He also has a knowledge level of 2. Here's his roll. He failed. He's going to have to lose an item. And I think James is going to surrender his Bowie knife, so we'll have him discard that. Next up, we're going to move creatures. We'll begin with the Stone Spirit of Olmec that has a movement of 1. That'll move into Pharoah's Hall. And then we have the Tomb's Eye, and that's going to target the closest character with the most soul shards, and that's going to be James. So the Tomb's Eye moves into that space. Next is going to be creature combat. This is the first time that James is going to be encountering that Tomb's Eye that has a courage level of 4. So James is going to be lowered by 4 points from +1 to -3. All right, now we're going to resolve the combat. James will use his M1A1 rifle. That's a dexterity weapon. It'll be a total of 5 +3 +2 for his rifleman ability. And we'll roll 10 dice. And here's his roll. All right, he has a total of 2 critical hits and only 1 natural hit. The creature has a combat level of 1. So he has exceeded that. There's no problems with that, so he'll take no wounds. And next we compare the armor level of the creature. It has a 0. So 3 hits are going to get through. Creature has a health of 6, so we'll place 3 damage tokens on the creature. All right, that's going to complete the creature combat. We'll move on to spawning creatures. On level 1, there will be no creatures spawned. On level 2, we're going to have 2 base creatures and 1 elite spawn. All 3 of those creatures have to be placed in the dart trap room. We're going to have a siren, menacing mist, and a manticore. Manticore has a 13 health. The menacing mist has a critical fail ability of move the combating adventurers and this creature to Mongol's Hall. And so that will occur, and that'll move us down to level 3 if we have to combat that creature. Then the siren, of course, draws us towards her. If we move to the 2nd level, we have to spend actions until we reach her location. So this is getting very difficult. Now we'll move on to the upkeep phase, and we'll start with Bianca. She did use her .45 caliber pistol, so I should have flipped that, but we'll write that, and then we have to roll a die to find out if it's out of ammo. On a roll of 1, it's out of ammo and discarded. And she rolls a 3, so we're okay with that. Now she does have a poisoned condition, and during upkeep we can roll a die. On a 1, we can discard it. Now during the upkeep phase she's going to lose 2 health because of that, so we'll move her down from 10 down to 8. And now we'll see if we can get rid of that dreaded poison condition. And no, she rolled a 3, so she'll maintain that for the time being. We'll move on now to James Temple. James has nothing that he has to address during the upkeep phase. So we'll move on now to the search phase, and we're going to rotate our search tokens 1 level to the right. So James is going to go to yellow, and Bianca is going to go to red. And finally, it's the comet track. Comet track is going to advance 1 space from 3 up to 4. And once again, when that reaches 6, Pharoah is going to awaken. All right, we're going to begin another adventurous phase, and we'll begin with Bianca. She's going to take an action, and I'm going to have her move. And I think we'll move her into the Fountain of Youth. When we heal there, we can gain double the amount of healing. So when we do a rest action there, I think that's a good place to place her. And we'll try to get our characters back up to fighting trim, I guess. We'll move on now to James, and he's kind of dealing with that Tomb's Eye. And we'll have James do an action, and he's going to try to combat that Tomb's Eye. He's going to employ his M1A1, and with his rifleman ability, he'll be rolling 10 dice. Okay, we'll have to re-roll this one. It got caught. All right, let's see how he did. He's got a total of 2 critical hits and 3 regular hits. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. The creature has a combat value of 1, so James won't have to take any damage. And it has a armor value of 0, so all the hits are going to go through, and that's more than enough to take out the Tomb's Eye. James is going to reclaim 3 soul shards for that process, and he'll get half of the courage that he spent back. That's 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that'll move James back to from -3 to -1, and we've gotten rid of that Tomb's Eye. Next up is Bianca. I'm going to have her do a rest action, and since she's in that Fountain of Youth, she can gain double back, so that'll be a total of 4 healing. That would move her up to 12, which is her starting point. She started with 12. Well, James is up next, and I think I'm going to take advantage of his Deadeye ability. He can use that twice more. It allows him to attack a creature up to 3 spaces away, and the creature cannot attack him. So I'm going to have James 1, 2, 3 spaces away. He's going to target this menacing mist. James is going to use his M1A1 rifle, and we'll see how he does. And here's the roll. All right. He's done a total of 1, 2, 3 hits. Now he can't be damaged because he's fighting at a distance. So we'll determine the creature's armor rating is 0. So all 3 hits are going to get through. So 3 hits on the menacing mist. We'll apply 3 hits to that. All right, and James has 1 use left of his Deadeye shot. Bianca is up next, and I think I'm going to have her move, and she's going to explore this. The only area of the first level that is still to be explored is through this door here in the Well of Souls. Now she has a movement value of 5, so we'll try to get her into that area. So she's going to move 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll see what she finds there. All right, she draws a tile, and that is a level 1 tile, and that is Leif Erikson's Grotto. All right. And that is a level 1 scenario trigger. All right, at the bottom here, it says for exploring, she gets to gain +1 to her move. So we're going to give her a +1 move token. gain a +1 movement token. We'll add that to her card. And that's a level 1 scenario trigger. And that's going to unleash the Curse of the Mummy again. So that's going to require her to make a Mythos test. Her Mythos is currently at a 1, and she gains +2 for the Ruby Scarab. So she'll be rolling 3 dice for that test. And she's passed. She's got a 5, so no damage there. That's good. And I think James is up now, and we're going to use his third action, and he's going to use his last use of that Deadeye ability, which gives him the choice of attacking something up to 3 spaces away. So he's going to target that same menacing mist. 1, 2, 3. And here's his roll. And he's done a total of 1 hit. Okay, well, he can't take any damage from that. He would have if this would have been a normal attack. The creature had an attack value of 4. It has no armor, so the 1 hit's going to get through. That's going to cause its 4th hit against it, and that's going to kill the menacing mist. Now, he isn't going to gain any soul shards for that, but at least we've gotten rid of the creature. Bianca is up again, and we're going to use an action for her. That's her 4th action, and I'm going to have her explore, so she's going to continue on through that door, I think, and we'll see what she gets. Another level 1 tile. This time it's quicksand. All right. 3 trap tokens will be placed. We'll place the 3 trap tokens, and then she has to resolve a strength test. If she fails, she gains the slowed condition. Now she has a special ability, Trap Master, +3 to all trap checks. So that's good. So her strength right now is a 1. She's been poisoned. That only does -2 during upkeep. So she has a strength of 1. And then she's going to gain +3 for the Trap Master ability. So she'll be rolling 4 dice for this. Okay, here's the roll. And she was able to pass. She's got 1 5. We'll take one of the trap tokens out. Leaves 2 remaining. And we'll move back to James. All right, James is up next. He's going to use his 4th action. And I think he's going to move. He has a movement value of 3. So I'm going to have him move 1, 2, and 3 into Leif Erikson's grotto. What I want to do is get the characters to meet up, and then Bianca can give him either the Staff of Ra or the Ruby Scarab. And we'll kind of split those critical items up and kind of prepare for the Pharoah with the blue eyes coming out. All right, Bianca is up next. That'll be her 5th action she's going to use. And I think she'll do a move action. I'll have her move into Leif Erikson's grotto, where she meets up with James. James is going to use his 5th action, and they're going to do a trade action where Bianca is going to give him the Ruby Scarab artifact. All right. And I'm going to have James now, using his map of the tomb's rooms, attempt to investigate this next room, I think during his next turn. All right, Bianca is going to use her 6th and final action for the round, and I think I'll have her move into this next room. That tile is a level 2 or level 3 tile. We can't use that. Same with this next one. And the next one is a level 3 tile, so we can't use that either. Finally, we've got a level 1 tile, and that is revealed to be Catacombs of the Crusades. All right. All right, that's a, she's going to get, for exploration, she gains +1 to strength, so we'll give her a +1 strength counter. And once again, that's a level 1 scenario trigger, and that's going to unleash the curse of the mummy again. And she's going to have to do her mythos check, but unfortunately this time she doesn't have the ruby scarab to help her, so she's only going to have 1 die for this. And here's her roll. And the roll is a 6. So that's good. She's managed to pass that. And we'll continue on. And James will be up, and he's going to use his last action, and he's going to rest. And that will gain him 2 health, bringing him up from 9 up to 11. And then we'll go on with the tomb phase. Card is listed as Living History. The tomb effect, cracks begin to form on the floor. All heroes have to test dexterity. If they fail, they're going to be slowed. All right, Bianca has a dexterity level of 4. So we're going to have her make a roll for dexterity with 4 dice. And she has a success, so she was able to pass that. James has a dexterity level of 3, and he'll be rolling with 3 dice. And here's his roll. And he failed. So that means he's going to gain the slowed condition. And that slowed condition will be -2 to movement down to a minimum of 1, and -2 dexterity. During a rest action, he can roll a die, and a 5 or 6, he can discard it. Okay. And next up, we're going to move creatures. So the creatures are going to move, and they're going to try to target the nearest character. So we have a stone spirit of Olmec. He has a movement of 1, so he's going to move up to the 1st level. We also have the Siren. Now she has a movement of 0, so she's going to remain where she is. But the Manticore has a move of 4. That's going to move 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to attack James, and that's next creature combat. Well, the Manticore has a courage level of 2, so we're going to move James down by 2. He's going to move from -1 to -3. And then James is going to form his dice pool. He'll be using the M1A1 rifle along with his, that's a dexterity item, gives him a total of 8, plus 2 for his rifleman ability, and he'll be rolling 10 dice. Now this creature has a combat value of 6, so if we get any less than 6 hits, James will be taking some damage. And here is the 10 dice roll for James. And he managed only 3 hits. 3 hits, so that means James is going to take 3 damage. That'll move him down to from 11 down to 8. Creature has no armor defense, so all those hits will get through. It's going to take 3 damage, but this thing has a health of 13 rather, so it's still got to get 10 hits on it. All right. Next up is spawning creatures. Level 1, we're going to get 2 base creatures and 1 elite creature on level 1. Well, we've got the Avatar of Kalima, Poisonous Spider, and a Quest Anaconda. We'll put those there. We have to do this as equally as possible, so we'll do it that way. All right, that ends the spawn creatures portion. We'll move to upkeep. We'll begin with Bianca. Now, she didn't use her 45 this round, so we don't have to make any roll for that. But she has the poison condition. If we can roll a 1, we can get rid of that, which would be great. And she rolled a 3, so no help there. We'll move on now to James. All right, James is up next for his upkeep phase. Now, he has this slowed condition, and that's going to can only be resolved during a rest action, so we can't do anything with that right now. That's going to affect not only his movement, but his dexterity as well, which is not good. And the last portion of the card is we have to rotate our search tokens and the comet track. So Bianca is going to go from red to green with her search token. James will go from yellow to red. And the comet track will move up to 5. We got 1 turn left. This isn't looking good. We're ready for another adventurous phase, and we'll begin with Bianca. Incidentally, Bianca should have lost 2 points of health from the poison condition. That's going to move her down from 12 to 10. And now I think Bianca is going to move, and I'll have her move into the room with the mana core to help out James. So we're going to burn one of her action tokens, and she's going to move into the room with James. James is up next. I'm going to have him do a action token, and he's going to attack the manticore. James is going to use his M1A1. His dexterity now is -2 because of that slowed condition, so that moves his dexterity down to 1. He gains 5 for the M1A1. That's 6. 7, 8 for his rifleman ability, so he'll be rolling 8 dice. And here's his roll. And he did pretty good. He's got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 3 of them being criticals. The creature has an attack value of 6, so James is going to lose 2 points of health, moving him down to 6 health. The creature has 0 armor, so all those hits will get through. That's a total of 4, and that will move up the damage level to 7 on that creature out of its 13 health. So we'll mark that as a total of 7 wounds on the manticore. Bianca is up next, and I think I'm going to have her try to help James out with the combat on that manticore. Now the problem is this is the first time she's facing the manticore, so she's going to lose 4 courage. I'm sorry, 2 courage. That'll move her down to -3 on the courage track. She's going to use her .45 caliber pistol, and that's a dexterity weapon. She'll have a dexterity of 4, +3 for the .45 caliber, and +3 for Giorgio's checks with using a dexterity. So that'll be a total of 10 dice. And here's the roll. Whoops. All right, she has done a total of 3 hits. The creature has a combat value of 6, so she's going to lose 3 health. That'll move her down to 7 health. Creature has no armor, so 3 hits will get through. That'll move the creature's damage up to 10. So we'll get a 10-point damage marker out, and we need 3 more hits to get rid of that manticore. James is going to use his second action, and he'll be rolling 8 dice for the attack on the manticore. Here's the roll. And he got only 1 hit, unfortunately, so that means he's going to take 5 wounds. That's going to move him down to 1. Oh boy. And 1 hit will get through to the creature. That'll move the damage up on the creature to 11 of 13. Well, we can't heal with the creature in the same space, so I think Bianca's just going to use her third action and attack. She'll be rolling 10 dice for the attack. Hopefully we can take this thing out. And she's done a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Creature has an attack of 6, so she's going to take 1 additional wound, moving her down to 6. And then all of those hits are going to get through, and we'll finally kill that manticore. All right, so she's going to gain 7 shards, and James will gain 1 shard, I believe. I'm going to double check the rules. I think each hero in the room gets a portion of a shard when the creature's killed. And that's correct. James is going to get 1 shard. And then also each character that received the shard gets to return half of the courage value of the creature. So that's good. Each of them will gain a courage back. So both characters now are at -2 on their courage tracks. Bianca has a total of 13 shards, and James has a total of 6 shards. And it's James's turn next. Now we know that more than likely the Pharoah with the blue eyes is going to awaken during this tomb phase. So I'm kind of caught in between whether we should move to the front of near the tomb's entrance to try to combat him, or if we should continue searching and try and find the third talisman. I think we'll do that. James is going to use a action, and well, no, he's slowed because his movement is down -2. I think we're going to do a rest action for him, and that's going to allow us to recover 2 health, bringing him back up to 3. And then he can make a roll during the rest action, and on a 5 or 6 he can get rid of that slowed condition. So we'll do it that way. And he rolled a 2. That's no good. So he's going to continue to have that slowed condition. We'll move on now to Bianca. I think Bianca's 4th action is going to be a rest action also. That'll move her back up to 8 on the health track. And we'll move on now to James. His 4th action will be another rest action. It'll bring him back up to 5, and he'll be able to make that roll once again for the slowed condition. On a 5 or 6 he can get rid of it. And he's got a 6, so he'll be able to get rid of that condition at least. That's good. So he's gotten rid of the slowed condition. Well, the heroes have 2 actions left each for the turn. I'm not quite sure what we should do. We know that Rhaz Azul is going to awaken this turn more than likely. He's going to end up starting in the Mongols' Hall, which is the 3rd level, and he's going to move towards the tomb entrance. And if he reaches that, we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose either way, but I think the only thing I can try to do is explore and try to find that 3rd talisman. That would be the only chance we would have. So I think we'll begin with Bianca. I'm going to perform a move action with her, and she'll do a little exploring. She's going to move 1 and then into that space there. We'll see what we've got. It's a level 1 tile, and that's the Chamber of the Ages. All right, we'll place that on the board. And she enters the Chamber of the Ages. Now that's a 1st level scenario trigger, and that means that it unleashed the curse of the mummy. We have to do a mythos test and see if she can pass that. Now on entering the tomb, it's by exploring, it's +1 to any attribute, so I think I'll take a plus to the mythos since we've got to do that test. That bumps her mythos up to 2, so we'll do that test now. And she passed. She's got a 6. Okay, we'll move on to James. James is going to perform an action. It'll be a move action, and we'll have him move into Quetzalcoatl's descent, and he'll try to combat that stone spirit of Olmec. All right, this is the first time that he's meeting up with the stone spirit. That has a courage level of 1, so he'll drop 1 on the courage department down to -3. And now he can make his, next turn he'll make his attack. And now we'll move on to Bianca. This will be her last action. And I guess she'll use her last action to move, and we'll explore that room there. We've got a level 1 room, and that is Davy Jones's locker. All right. And that is, unfortunately, a misadventure in that room. All right. The special sequence on the card is we're going to gain a soul shard, and we gain a targeted condition. And that targeting condition simply says that you always count as having the most soul shards when calculating targets for creatures. All right, we're going to resolve then that misadventure. And the misadventure reads, ever since you arrived on this island, you've had an uneasy feeling as if you were being watched. Something's been following you, hunting you for quite some time now. As you enter this room, Your instincts prove you right. Okay, we have to test dexterity. She has a dexterity level of 4. So we're going to roll 4 dice for the test. And she failed. So we're going to read the fail condition. You're barreled over by a putrid, filthy, foul-smelling undead abomination, catching you off guard. You fall hard. Hoping to defend yourself, you try to scramble back to your feet. -3 health, -1 courage, and +1 base class of undead creature class. All right, so we're going to add an base character or creature that has the undead keyword. And that's going to move her health down to 5 and her courage at -3. Okay, we'll draw our creature that's going to appear. And a Blackbeard's Keepers shows up. All right, now we have James. This will be his last action, and I think he's going to do a combat action against that stone spirit of Olmec. All right, this is the first time he's facing that stone spirit, so he's going to drop 1 on his courage down to -4. He's going to use his M1A1, and we'll see how we do. He'll be rolling a total of 10 dice. And here's his roll. All right, he has a total of 3 hits. They're all critical hits. That exceeds the creature's combat value, so we're not going to take any damage. And he's going to inflict a total of 3 hits. There was 1 critical fail, but as we didn't take any damage, that critical fail condition won't kick in. It's going to kill the stone spirit of Olmec. It only had a health of 1, and James is going to gain a soul shard. And that's all of the actions. We'll move on now to the tomb phase. Tomb phase is Angel of Darkness. Tomb effect: the first player must discard 1 attribute bonus token. And that would be Bianca. And I guess she will discard the movement bonus that she has, taking her back down to 5. Next up, we're going to move creatures. All right, all the creatures have moved, and we're going to be into a combat situation. We'll begin with Bianca and the Blackbeard's Keepers. She's faced the Blackbeard's Keepers before, so she is just going to launch an attack then. We're using her pistol, along with Georgios and her dexterity. She'll be rolling a total of 10 dice. And she has a total of 3 hits. The creature has a combat value of 3, so she'll take no additional damage. And she's going to, creature has no armor, so 3 hits are going to get through, and we'll place 3 wounds on that creature. It has a health of 4. Next up is James, and he is going to have to combat the Avatar of Kalima. All right, this is the first time he's meeting up with that, so it has a courage level of 3. He's going to lose 3 on the courage and moves him down to -7. All right, and now he's going to launch his attack, and that'll be using 10 dice. And here's the roll. And he has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 2 critical and 2 non-critical. All right, the creature has a base attack of 7, so that means we're going to take 3 wounds, moving us down to 2 health. Creature has an armor level of 3, so the 2 standard hits won't count, but the 2 criticals will. So we're going to issue 2 wounds on the creature. It has a health of 9. All right. And we had a critical fail. So that means that the curse of the tomb we're going to inherit. Curse of the Tomb is when you draw a story card, it's always a misadventure. -1 die to all checks. When you gain this, lose all current audacity points. And then during the upkeep phase, we roll a die. On a roll of a 6, we can discard it. All right, we'll continue on. That will finish the creature combat. Now we're going to spawn creatures. On level 1, we've spawned Blackbeard's Keepers in the ceiling spike trap room, and Vesper appears in the sacrificial chamber on level 1. On level 2, there's going to be a base creature that will appear there. And that is determined to be a quest Anaconda in the dart trap room. All right, now we'll continue on with our upkeep phase. All right, Bianca has the poison condition, so she's going to lose 2 health for that. That moves her down to 3. And now we can make a roll to see if she can get rid of that poison condition on a roll of 1. And she failed, so that she's still going to take that. We also have to roll for the 45 caliber pistol. On a roll of 1, it's discarded. She gets to keep that. All right, we'll move on now to James. James has a Curse of the Tomb. On a roll of 6, we can discard it. And he failed, so he's going to maintain that. All right, we're going to rotate our search tokens. James goes to green, and Bianca goes to yellow. And finally, the comet track is going to move, and that's going to move up from 5 up to 6. And the Pharoah with the blue eyes is going to awaken. And that reads, Trigger Comet Track 6. There is a great rumbling. A horrible gust of fetid air blows like a torrent through the tomb, which trembles as dust falls from every crack in the walls and ceiling. A tremendous voice echoes through the halls. I have lived for thousands of years, and I shall live for thousands more. Place Rhaz Azul ahamet on level 3 room tile furthest from Mongol's Hall. And he enters play in Mongol's Hall. Now, Mongol's Hall is connected to Pharoah's Hall, which is connected to Quetzalcoatl's descent. So this creature has a move value of 4, so it's going to move 1, 2, 3, and 4, and during the next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to exit the tomb unless he comes across a hero. If a hero starts in the turn in the same space with him, he would combat it. Otherwise, he's going to move out. So they're going to win. There's no doubt about that. So I think we've kind of played this out to the fullest extent that we're able to. This was a learning playthrough, so I did make some mistakes in this, but at least I have a good grasp now on how the game works. So I think I'm just going to call the playthrough here, because there's no doubt that Rhaz Azul ahamet is going to be able to exit the tomb. There's no doubt about that. I did learn a few things in this blind playthrough, and one of them is the importance of those audacity points. I spent those way too quickly, too early, and without having those, it really puts the team at a huge disadvantage. Well, thanks for joining me for this playthrough. Being a blind playthrough, I'm sure it wasn't too exciting. We made a few mistakes during the playthrough, but we can all learn from that at least. And I'd like to invite you to the Solo Gamers Club for another playthrough, and we're going to be trying something that we're a little bit more familiar with, I think, for the next video. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming.